Having done this part available over here, for example, we can see that we made this particular table available and we got this using the IFS function over here, Vizlet, and then we got this using Vlookup. This also using Vlookup. This was the month that we got from here, and this was the year. You can multiply the quantity with price to get the value also. That is easily available. So let us now try to create the report here so that we can see how can we apply the Power Query system in this case. So please copy the table with me using the sheet over here. So kindly hold the control key and drag it like this, for example, and drop it over here. Rather than going to right click and move or copy. This option is very much there, but without that we can try like this. I'll tell you once more. I'm deleting the table right now, the sheet right now. So if I right click and say move or copy, the shortcut for that is Alt-EM. Move or copy shortcut is Alt-EM. If I want to copy or move, for example, this is the shortcut. Alt-EM, move or copy is Alt-EM. So if I want to copy or move a sheet, for example, I'm here, for example, in this particular sheet, I want to apply a copy paste of the sheet, complete sheet as such. So Alt-EM is the shortcut. I can see the window available over here. Without this, I can do one thing. I can simply go to the sheet over here, hold the control key and drag it out like that. Please do it now. Let's do it together. Let's do it. And this one we called as, this one is a copy of the table that we created. So this table was called, if you remember, data table over here. That was tree data. This therefore has got converted to another table, and that will be renamed to T data 6 or 7 or 5 or 6. So I can mention that as Q data, that is query data. This one will be query data. If I delete my data from here, for example, the two columns which I'm applying over here, I just now copied that across, holding the control key, and I'm calling it, for example, as Q data over here. Q data, that is query data. So I made a copy here. Can you please apply that? Try to make a copy like that. In case it is not done, I can erase my current sheet like that. Erase local. The shortcut is for erase local, that is Alt-EL. So if I want to repeat that again, how can I do that? I want to erase my local sheet. The shortcut in that case would be Alt-EL. Erase local sheet, that's your local sheet, for example. Erase local sheet is Alt-EL. Alt-EL, erase local sheet. S is not taken here. So erase local sheet, that is what we see over here. If I want to delete this now, in case somebody has not done that, I'm repeating that once again. Therefore, I'm deleting the sheet over here, Alt-E and then L. So I go to the data tab. Without applying Alt-EM, I can try to drag it here with control key pressed. I can hold the control key and drag it across. So I get my copy created over here. I can then double click that and define that as Q data, for example, as well as define this particular table as Q data. So this I've renamed as Q data. This also I'm renaming as Q data over here, this one. They don't have to be same. I'm giving the same name so it's easy to remember. Let us now clear all these elements over here. How do you clear all the elements? I've got my bold character here, gray here, and the content also is here, for example. The file that I had sent contains the shortcut keys also. You can see that over here. And this is a Mac shortcut key. This got Windows shortcut key. There are some shortcut keys here, some you need to add over here. So you can always add some more, for example. Going further, for example, if I try to clear my content over here, so I can try to apply the content clearance like that. It is erase all attributes. So Alt-A. So while I'm here in Q data, for example, I can just make a selection like that, go across, shift click like that. So I can make a selection like that with shift click. Click and shift click can make a selection as per my choice in that case. So when I drag my data, for example, for a selection, it might over drag sometimes and I have to come back. For example, if I try to drag up to here, it might go over drag and come back again. So what I can do is I can go to the start point of my data like that. Say I select this, then I'm not worried about anything. I can simply scroll to the end of the data, Before click, I can hold the shift key. I hold the shift key and click over here, and the entire data is selected. So I don't bother about the other end over here, and I don't have to drag all across in that case. The only thing is I have to be careful that I don't click somewhere in the sheet in between. So when I start a point here, for example, I can use the mouse to go anywhere like that. And before I click over here, I can hold the shift key. I can press shift click now. That will select my entire data. Then I can say Alt E double A. What does that do? Erases all attributes. Okay, what are my attributes here? For example, see, attributes contain these. Cell attributes contain these. For example, it has a value, it has a formula, it has a color, it has a border, it has a link, it has a style. Style is bold italic, So one cell can contain all of these attributes at one time, combined together. One cell can contain a value also, formula also, color also, border also, link also, and style also. I think it covers many of these over here. So I can't keep deleting this one by one or even selection like that. Then delete my color, then delete my border. I don't have to do it 2-3 times, for example. I can do it in one shot only. So I can make a selection like this, for example, over here. I can then try in this case, this one. Try Alt E double A, which I mentioned earlier also. Alt E, that's Alt E over there. Erase. Double A is all attributes. 1, 2, and we get everything cleared over here. Let's clear this now. And this as well. Alt E double A is a quick shortcut we should always use to clear the data in that case. Let's apply that. So in Excel, if you want to clear a cell, for example, with all the attributes it's got over here, you can do that using Alt E double A instantly in that case. That works really fine. We'll see many of the options available which help us in, for example, creating fine reports. We have to build a backup, creating our good reports finally. So the data has to be more clean and more intact with this. So we created a good backup and try to understand how can that really work. So it defined that let's now work with the data set over here. So I can now make a selection across, shift across, control shift down arrow, entire table is selected. I can then press control minus because it is part of my table. It is part of my format as table option. That is why when I go here, control minus will automatically shift my other columns here. That's what it works with. We know that very well. I don't need these two also, so I can apply this like this. Control minus. So you notice the up arrow like that, down arrow like that when you see the data across, for example. Up arrow from the bottom of the table, down arrow from top of the table, and you can make a selection like that. Then try control minus. Because the table is formatted as a table, so it becomes easy to delete the column like that. Let's do it. So finally, I've got these columns available. There are 8 columns in this case. That's what I can see in this case. Correct. I've got my product, group, month, and year cleared from here. Control Z, what was it all about? It was all about this one. I selected the data, Alt E double A. I then make a selection like that, Alt E double A again. And that's an easy take for the example. Works fine. I can then go for the product group and product like that. Make a selection, control minus. And then this also, control minus. When I work with the data table, one more feature I have to tell you now is this, that I can work with the data table for my basic simple report available there, like filters, for example. We work with the raw data a lot of times, right? Press Control Shift L and go to open the filters over here. Whatever are my important filters, for example, I have my customer, I have my region, for example, I'm saying, I can simply go here, any of this cell over here, because this table is formatted as a table right now. So I can go to the table design, apply the slicer in this case. Let's do that. Apply table slicer in this case. Insert slicer now, please. And I could open the customer and the region over here as my slicers. I can see the filters. I don't want filters over here. I can push the customer here, for example.
Hey, you know, ZaranTech now offers SAP corporate training. That's right. Train your workforce in SAP with our comprehensive program. We offer customized courses, certified trainers, and hands-on labs for both individuals and businesses. Our standout features? Bespoke training, fully configured servers for practice, in-house materials, and a dedicated LMS. Plus, get session recordings and 24/7 support. From functional to technical modules, we have got it all. Choose ZaranTech for SAP training and watch your team excel. Learn, upskill, succeed with ZaranTech.
Drag it across. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 customers, so I can really drag it across. Possibly overlap this as well, no worries. Then go to the slicer option over here. Apply 6 over here as columns. Apply 6 as columns. Press enter. We can see 6 customers across and we can really scroll them. 3 rows are sufficient for displaying any slicer in that case. So I can bring it down now. That's okay. That's how it shows in this case. 3 rows are sufficient like that to have the slicer available over here. 3 rows is 45 pixels for that matter. 3 to 4 rows is fine. 3.5 rows or 4 rows is fine. Yeah. For the slicer. And I can push one more slicer here. That should be somewhere here. Possibly I can increase the height over here. So I can adjust that one also. It's hardly one more value here. Why NA? So this tells me the idea about the mistakes in my data, for example, that when I try to club my data and apply the slices, in this case, I can see there is nothing below that. So I need not really have this available here, but got to find the NA. So I can go to any filter for that matter. Once I go to the table, filter, open that, I can find blanks over here. So I can really go to blank, something like this also. When I open the filter, for example, in the filter section, I can then try Alt down arrow. Alt down arrow opens any drop down, any filter, any drop down in Excel. Then E for explore, that is search. Then we say BL for blank, BL for blank, BL for blank, and enter. We find this record over here. This is something that is not required. Control minus. Entire sheet row, yes, that's fine. I can release the filters now. Clear filters, I get the entire data available and no NA in this case. That NA is gone. That NA is completely gone from there and I'm done with my selection and that's absolutely fine. Now here I can apply the filters so easily. This can be easily applied. So extra records taken away. And in case there are some more filters over here, we can apply some more over here and see those and apply those when required. So going further, I can apply West only. I can see West data in this case, cross it to clear that. I can see Weekend Bazaar. Let's try to click that and resize once again. Yeah, now it's better. Okay, it's collapsing so much. So I can collapse this instead and try to expand this further. Something extra is there. It's okay. That extra cell is there. Okay. It can expand also because of that extra record. It's probably covering that up. I can delete that and try this once again. Click on the table, apply design table, insert slicer, get customer. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can click 5 over here. So we had 6 earlier, remember? That's why it's showing that. 5 is fine now. Once we create a number over there, we get the column width available for the slicers in that case. That's what we get over here. And now it will be equally wide across. It will be equally wide now. That's okay. That's how we can do it. And we can also apply the color. In this case, I can go to the slicer here, go to the slicer, apply the color that matches my theme and works fine. So I can really combine that with the filters I have. They are visual filters. Slices are visual filters, nothing but visual filters. So I can click on 247 and I can see 247 only in that case. Clear the filter from here. hold the control key, try, shop 365, and then hold the control key 247. We get the combination for the 2 in this case. Clear filter. So I can apply this instantly and get the answer available there. And based on that, I can get my answer available. That's a small kind of a report available. Not a final report, but a workable report where I can apply the filters easily and work with the data set. So data table support slicers also. Have one more copy. Let's have one more copy here. Drag it across. Rename that. Data query. And this table will have another name over here. We can write data query. So we have to have a no space available. Data query is fine. I can't have a space in between for the table name as well as the range name. We're not working with the range name right now, but range name and table names cannot have space in Excel. The range names are worked for dashboard purpose. If we do dashboard sometime, we'll learn that also. How to make a dashboard, how to analyze the data, and so on and so forth. That's a little bigger story, but then we can do that also. That's a dashboard in Excel. That's a clean dashboard in Excel with the observations also. And the analysis that goes behind that is this one. A lot of analysis goes behind that. Then this one, KPI chart and all that. Some mapping done over here. Then we deal with the backup charts, for example, what charts are made, for example, and work with that. That's another training altogether. I'm trying to tell you the scope of Excel and also where we can do more work on basically the charts over there, or let us say the developments in that case. This relates to the report making only. The next step is to make the dashboard thereafter. So a slight touch on that will happen, but not really fully. We're preparing the reports right now and try to see how to prepare the reports. Now this part is the query part available. We have finished one part over here to see what are my data query in this case. I've gone to the query now, created a copy here. I don't need the slicer here. That can disturb my work. So I got the slicer here in this case. Probably you can rename that with slicer. Q data with slicers. This one is data query. So here I can delete control minus R for row, rows deleted. Let me explain you what I'm going to achieve right now. The effort that we did that day regarding the collection of the data over here, these columns, and these columns, we did that over here. We did this also. That will take more time right now. So I'm not covering that right now. I'll cover this and this set over here. So right over here, for example, we can try to create the same using Power Query in that case. So this will be a Power Query support. We'll pick up the data from here, pick up the data from the masters also. These two cases, for example, and try to combine the data without using a Vlookup or Xlookup and without giving a function, for example, we can try to get the month name and the year name available directly with the UI. What is the UI? User interface for Power Query. So some people having done Power Query earlier will be having a revision right now. Those who have not done it will be a new lesson in that case. When we do Power BI, for example, we do a lot of Power Query. Power BI goes into a lot of Power Query in that case. So dashboard is separate, Power BI is separate. Good old days, only one Excel was there, but ever since they've introduced so many options available there, Power BI and dashboarding have become fairly important. So whenever the time is there, one should upgrade that. But the point is that, yes, we also have to learn so many things because the demand is there, because the requirements have increased. And we had the collection of the data earlier, much earlier, 10, 20, 10, 15 years ago. Data collection, cleaning the data, getting the data, database management, a lot of that was there. Then we got that through Excel and created good reports, pivot and chart and all that, which we're learning as a revision. Then we had the dashboard, then we had the Power BI. So there are so many options available. That's why we have to learn these things. Okay. So if I try this now, for example, I have to try to combine the data which I've combined over here. In this case, I have to combine the data here. So I'll try to combine like this with Power Query support using the masters also. So let us go to the masters right now and click on the data set over here, which is my table in that case. That's my table over here. We go to the tab called data tab over here and go to from table range. Click a cell in this case, from table range. From table range over here. That opens Spark query. That's my products, P products. I'll name it as Q products over here. That's query. I press enter and keep it as it is. That is all. That is all. I have to be very careful in the step I take now. In case you've not taken that step, let me tell you what is that. I've gone to the masters over here, taken a cell in this case, and then I go to the data tab, and then I try from table query. From table query, please. Once I click that, I see Spark query coming up there, and I can rename that in this case using Q for query, and you can see the rename happens here also, and this happens here also. Please take the next step very carefully. There are some steps that you're supposed to apply thereafter, but we'll come to that later. Please take the next step very carefully. I have to go to close and load and choose a second option, please. Choose the second option, please. That's close and load to. And then the window appears. In that also have to be careful to select a specific option. In that case, let's be careful. So close and load, second option here. The window appears. Only create a connection because I want to load more tables into my Spark query. I want to load more tables in my Spark query. So I want to say only create a connection in this case. Okay. And the connection is created for Q products in this case. This one is called P products over here, but this one is called Q products. That is for the query part available there. I then go to my data query here, which is this one. What is that called? Data query here. Okay. I will like to go to the data tab again. From table range once again. Please try this. From table range once again. From table range once again over here. Click on that now. The second table goes here, and we call this Q data that I had called earlier over here. That's why I changed that to Q slices in this case. Let's write Q data, press enter. Again, close and load. 2. Again, create a connection. That's Q data here. If you realize it was Q data here also, this one. It should not get mixed up, so I can rename that as slices, data slices again. That's better. I had the thought that I'll first do Q data, then I shifted to slices. So the earlier set is a slicer, and that's a completion part of the data query. Sorry, the data table for that matter. So data table can support the slices also. We covered that part earlier. I've renamed that decently to data slices in this case. Also, the table name is data slices. So that part is fairly clear. Table name should not have a space in between. That's what we learn over here. And now we come to the query part in this case. This table is now called data query only. That is a source, for example, but the output has been named as Q data in this case, and that's a Q product in this case. That's a preview of the data that we can see in this case. Now that I need to do some work over there, I can go back to Power Query and try to apply some work over there and see how it is workable.
What sets ZaranTech apart in SAP corporate training? It's our unique blend of expertise and innovation. We offer customized courses tailored to each client's needs, ensuring relevant, targeted learning. Our vast trainer database brings you wisdom from the best in the field. Need resources? Access our extensive training material repository anytime. We are all about measurable results, providing detailed student metrics to track progress. And we don't just teach, we build community. Join our thriving social media network, connecting learners beyond boundaries. With ZaranTech, you are not just training, you are transforming your SAP expertise.
So to go to Power Query, I have to go there. data tab in this case, data tab here, get data, apply Power Query. I've got this query here because I keep doing that work a lot many times. So that's the query over here. Please click on Launch Power Query. And I see both of the tables available over here. Click on Q data, for example. This is the type of the data that we have. It's called data type. What is the type of the data in this case? It's called date and time. It's called date and time over here. I got to click on the calendar over here, which is showing the watch also. So click on the calendar. I just pick up the date only, the calendar only, not the watch. So that will be date. This time will be cleared from here. I click on date only in this case. Replace current, yes. And the step will be added over here. The step will be added over here. Yes. You can see the step is added. I've changed the type. That step is added. It was not there earlier. I showed you earlier also. Now there are 8 columns in this case. I need to add the product group and the product as well as the month name as well as the year in this case. Okay. So I can go to the merge option in this case like this. So please click on Q data in this case. We are in Power Query right now. This Power Query is part of Excel as well as Power BI also, So I can go here to Q data in this case, apply merge queries. There are 2 options. I want the same table or the new table. I want the same table. So I can continue with the first option in this case, which is right in the button also. So I can either try this or I can try this. They are same. Click on this option, merge queries, and I see a table over here. The table shown here shows me the other one, that is Q products for that matter. And I can click on product code here as well as the product code here. The 2 are matching. 5,000 records are matching for Q data along with the products in this case. Product would be very small table, 7, 8 records. You saw that earlier also. Hardly few records. So once you club this field over here, connecting the 2 fields, same field name over here, data should be same, spellings can be different. When I try to club the data here, data should be same, spellings can be different. I'm trying to merge the query here like this. What have I done, by the way? I've simply gone to the Q data table over here. If I click on the header, I can see my entire table here. If I click on the row, I can see my entire record like this and try to expand the split here to see my entire record like that. So click on the record to see entire record, click on the column to see entire table like that. Then go to Home tab, apply merge queries. In the merge query window, go to the second dropdown, apply products, the one that you think are relating, that over here. And then apply product code and product code here. The 2 match. All the records are matching. Click OK. Click OK. I can go to the right side and find the split arrow here with the Q products in this case. This indicates to me that that particular table is connected to my current table. That is connected to my current table over here. I can go split arrow in this case and pick up my fields I want to display over here. And I'm right now establishing a VLOOKUP. I'm establishing an XLOOKUP in this case. This is the way with the UI, user interface, in Power Query, I can establish a VLOOKUP over here. So I can click on the split arrow over here like this, uncheck all the options, uncheck this option also. This allows me to have the pre-name available here as a table name. Then the dot, then the field name will appear. I don't want a dot and this name over here. I'll uncheck this option. I just want the product group and product and product group over here, and both will appear in one shot only. That is my VLOOKUP completed now. Click OK, and I get my accurate VLOOKUP here. Got to drag it with the header, bring it over here after the product code here. So I'll drag it here. Both of the columns will be dragged in this case like this. Drop it here, and we are done. 10 columns now. 8 were there, now there are 10 columns, and the steps are added over here. I'm trying to tell you how can I collect my data with the Power Query part also and create a kind of a small report here as well. We are trying to work with the UI in this case, and that makes Excel quite easy to work with. I can now go to the date in this case, go to add column, apply the date over here, pick up month, name of month. Let's try that. So I've taken the date selection, add column here, date, month, name of month. That is added to the end over here. And this month I want a business month name. For business month name, I must have 3 characters for the month name available here. I can click on this selection over here. That's month name. And I can go to transform. I can go to transform over here. Extract first characters. So after creating the month name, I can do a selection over here. Then go to transform tab over here. Remember, it's a transform tab over here. Then we go to extract first characters and type 3 over here. And click OK. Okay, in that case, we say that over here, business month name appearing over here. Back to the date, add column, date, year, and year over here. So I get the year also in this case, right side, 12 columns now. There were 8 columns earlier, we got 12 columns, and this is so fast and easy. This is really so fast and easy. Since I've got my 2 columns available here, I can click and shift click this, bring it after the date like that. And that's how I can order my data in the specific order for that matter. Then go to Home tab and close. This time we apply the first option, close and load. The other is not available as such also. I can close now and that will go back. What have I done? I created 2 columns here by using the option data tables in this case. The data option in this case, table and range. I picked up that table first of all, masters, and then I tried this one here, table range, this one here, transferred that there. In both the cases, I came back with close and load 2 option. After returning back here, I could see the connection over here. If I happen to lose the connection here like this, for example, I can go click here, data tab, queries and connection again, for example, to get the window again. Now that I've completed my work for collecting the data and establishing a good VLOOKUP over there, getting the data there, also getting my month and year available there, I can now go here, right click on this. It says not loaded, right? It's not loaded right now. So right click on this and say load to. Here or here you can right click and say load to in this case. And that will now load it in the table here. Got to load it in the table here. I want the table here in this case. That should be somewhere here. So let's go and click that. Second one I'm choosing. This one I'm choosing over here. Right click and say load to. That's Q data. I want the table here. Apply the OK in this case. Go to new worksheet in this case. New worksheet. Apply OK. And we find the table is created with the month name and the year, product group and the product over here. The established VLOOKUP has come back to me in the new avatar. I can say that if I want the format, I can change the format from here and make it a singular format, something like this. And this one is Q data. Remember, we gave that name over there in Power Query. I can expand my column width here. There we are.